I hear it on. I hear it on. That's a good thing. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. And our pastor, as you can see, is here. But if you've tried to talk to him, he can't talk back to you, which his little wife is saying, yeah, that's a good thing. All right, well, anyway, he's got laryngitis and can't speak up tonight, so we're going to do, Sandra called me this afternoon and asked if I could just kind of lead things tonight, which I said sure, and she suggested maybe we talk about OBHC and some of the things that we do at OBHC, and I thought that was a pretty good idea. And so I want to start us out tonight with the passage of Scripture over in Jeremiah chapter 29. And in Jeremiah chapter 29, this was during the start of the captivity for the children of Israel, and one of their worst times, if you will. And the people that were led into captivity were not pleased to go. Went as a result of maybe some of their own sins, but mainly as a result of their nation sinning and continuing in sin, and would not turn back to their God. And so when they got there, those that were still practicing their religion, that were still close to God, still had a relationship with Him, He spoke to them. And in verse 4 of chapter 29, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those that I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses, settle down, plant gardens, and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons, give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there, do not decrease. Also, seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. Yes, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Do not let the prophets and the diviners among you deceive you. Do not listen to the dreams you encourage them to have. They are prophesying lies to you in my name. I have not sent them, declares the Lord. This is what the Lord says. When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my gracious promise to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And so I just wanted to read that passage of Scripture because when children come to us as Oklahoma Baptist, and it's not just children, it's young adults, it's people looking for somebody to help them out. You know, Sandra could probably testify to how many times people come knock on the door at our church and say, hey, need a little help. I need a little help. I need a little help. Most of the children that we minister to at OBHC need a lot of help. And God reminds them that He has a plan for their lives, and He has a plan for them to prosper. But that means turning away from some things that they've been involved in, some of them. Some of them, as far as just the children, it just means getting away from some of those bad influences. Some of the young ladies down in Medill, I'm going to read you a testimony here in a minute of one of those young ladies who testifies about how that if she would have stayed in her home environment, how detrimental that home environment was to her. And because she could come to the home there at Medill and find people that loved her, people that cared about her, people that cared about who she was and poured into her life. Because of that, now she's prospering, getting ready to graduate from high school, getting ready to go out into college and to have a prosperous life and have an opportunity. And these are the things that we're able to do. Now, when I say Oklahoma Baptist Homes for Children, what do you think of? Owasso, yeah. We have a nice Baptist children's home over in Owasso. What else? Well, do what? Children needing a home, good. A lot of our ministry has turned to, in the last few years, to young mothers. And we're really focused, we've been focused for the last 5 years more than ever on putting families back together. And sometimes that's hard when you got moms and dads that are going different ways, or maybe there never was there might have been a mom and a dad, but there never was a home. And so we got young ladies with children that don't have a place for them. And so our Oklahoma City campus now just has 4 homes that are we call them cottages. And these cottages have a home set of parents there, but the residents are young families, young mothers that have children and have a need and have nobody to fulfill that need. And so we bring them in, we set them up under a structure where they're guided in finances, where they're guided in prayer, where they're guided in how to attend church, and where they're guided in how to finish their education or get an education. Some of them come in there without even a high school education, but they got 2 children and they don't know how to take care of them. And so we provide them a home, we provide them a setting where they get a guidance every day and get guidance to get an education. And I'm going to read you a testimony here in a minute about one young lady that now has her degree and is getting ready to start teaching young children in school, all because we as Oklahoma Baptists give her a place to learn, a place to prosper, and a place to flow out of. Okay, what else do you think of? How about what we did Sunday? What did we do Sunday? We took up an offering.
They called us today to let us know how much our offering was, and it was $475.
Yeah, $475 and some change for Sunday. Now that included the offering that we took up Sunday and all of our little baby bottles that we put around in our Sunday school classrooms that we fill up. And we brought all of that together and took it all in, almost $500, just $25 short of $500. That's great. That's great for this little church. Now you take and multiply it. So what does that do? That goes to the Hope Pregnancy Centers. And the Hope Pregnancy Centers are another extension of OBHC. And so a lot of people don't realize that. I didn't realize that until, I got on the board. They said, hey, we need you to come and be on the board for OBHC. And so I get in there and, oh, wow, that's a lot bigger than I thought, because I had the same idea. I knew Owasso, we got the girls' home down in Medill, we got the boys' ranch town in Edmond, Oklahoma, and then we got the other Baptist Children's Home there in Oklahoma City. Didn't know that Hope Pregnancy Center was underneath that. Didn't know that there's other ministries underneath that. One Such Child is another ministry that we have through OBHC. And One Such Child is a continuing education program for foster parents. And so what we do is we go out and we partner with churches, and the way the most successful way that we've done this is that during Bible schools, when churches have Bible school at night, we invite foster parents to come in and do their continuing education while while the churches are taking their kids through VBS. And so the parents have an opportunity to meet other foster care parents, have an opportunity to get their feathering education, because to get to be a foster parent, how much feathering education do you have to do every year? 12 hours. And you think, oh, that's not a whole lot. But if you have to take the time to go someplace, to sit down, to get that education, then it does become a lot. And especially if you're working parents and you're taking care of your children, you're working a job, you got foster kids that, and you're taking care of them, maybe you even got your own kids. So this gives them an opportunity to further their education in a church setting, then gives that church an opportunity to minister to that family and find out some of these families that need ministering to. And so that's a great opportunity that we have there. Also, I want to read you another verse right quick, and then I'm going to read you some of those testimonies. So in Matthew 25 and verse 40, it says, this is Jesus talking here, and he says, "The king will reply, I tell you the truth, whether you did one of these, least of these, or whether you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." And Jesus, of course, if we back up into that and get the big picture of that, the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And the king will reply, "I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." And that's a key verse for our ministry at OBHC, because we're ministering to those that really have a need, the least of these. We had a testimony at our December meeting from a young lady that, just could not believe it was just hard to sit there and listen to her testimony about the life that she had lived, and how that by the time she was 12 years old, she was kicked out of her house. She was living on the streets. She was making a way for herself. And then she found hope. And she found hope because she was pregnant, and found the Hope Pregnancy Center when she was about 18 years old. And they brought her in, took her in, ministered to her. Now she's finished her education at OU, and is a Christian writer. And just amazing what God has done, and what He can do is take the little that we give. You think, well, $450, how far is that going to go? Or $475, but you take and you multiply that by all the Baptist churches across Oklahoma, and then it becomes a whole lot. So what do you think the budget is for this year for OBHC? Anybody want to guess? What'd you say? A lot of money. You're right, it is a lot of money. Come on, I want somebody just to guess. That's a good guess. 10 million's a good guess. 15 million is what our budget is. Our budget last year was 13 million. Our budget this year is $15 million. So you say, wow, that's a lot of money. That's for all of Oklahoma, and for all of the umbrella that OBHC takes care of. So that's that's not just Owasso. Not just Owasso, Oklahoma City, Girls Ranch Town, and not just those four, but all of the Hope Pregnancy Centers, all the One Such Child, and all of the ministries of OBHC together. So $15 million and some change. But we've done some changes this last year. So here at $15 million $571,967 is what our budget is for next year. Now, OBHC is just like a church. So what, where's John at? No, I don't see John here. What do we base our budget on? What we come in and what we think is going to come in, because we presented a budget for 2023 and we don't know how much money is going to come in our offering plates in 2023. But we presented a budget based on what we hope will come in, what we feel like we need to maintain the facilities here and to continue the ministry here in Verdigris. OBHC has to do the same thing. We project what we think is going to happen with offerings coming in the next year, and that's what we base our budget on. Now, we have a little advantage at OBHC versus here at a local church, because at OBHC we have an endowment. I know what an endowment is. We have multi-million dollars that people have said through the years when I pass away, or some of them before they even pass away, they say, okay, I want to give this to the endowment so that every year Water's Edge, the financial arm of Oklahoma Baptist, takes care of that money and they distribute based on what's there. But how many of you have been successful last year in the stock market? Or your 401k just did nothing but shoot up last year? None of us, right? And so that's another variable that we have to, look at there. And so it's not always steady income, but we get a pretty good idea. And I tell you one thing, Water's Edge is really good at taking care of the money. They invest it in good, wholesome Christian things, and so the money is invested well, and because of that, it does really well. I want to show you a graph here. Now, I know that all of you know that what happened in the last few years with COVID and the offering and different things. And so this is gift compensation, and this was as of September of 2022. This is 2022 right here. This is 2020, 2019, 2020. We were down just a little bit. But look here in 21. Think God doesn't take care of? Look at that. That is almost, so it went from under $4 million, almost $1 million more gifts in 2021 versus 2020. And then in 2022, as of September, we were up another $500,000 in gifts. And these down here, this blue down here at the bottom, that represents gifts from people like you and me. And so that's where the bulk of our money comes from. The red right here going through the middle, that's special offerings like Mother's Day offering that we all take. That's the special offerings. The gray right here, that's the wills and trust. And you see in 2020 we didn't have any income from that, mainly because 401ks were down. And so that comes from people that are still living, and so they might have like maybe $500,000 or $1 million invested, and they say, okay, 10% of that is going to go to the Baptist Children's Home. That year was a horrible year for the stock market. All right, but 2021, look at the difference there. Woo, boom, way up on that one. All right, and then the yellow one is the cooperative program. Yeah. So sometimes, this was kind of my thought going, when I jumped on the board there, that the majority of our income would come from the cooperative program. Doesn't, does it? Comes from special gifts like you and me. And then the final one up there at the top is that's the Mother's Day offering. The blue one is up there. That little bitty one up there at the top, that's Mother's Day offering that comes in. And so anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I thought that was a pretty neat graph, just showing that God did take care of Oklahoma Baptist Homes for Children during the COVID period. He did take care of, Oklahoma Baptist, because obviously it was Oklahoma Baptist that money come from. So God took care of those that are faithful to give and to share what they got with others. Okay, just a little, I'm gonna share just a little bit about our budget with you right quick. So our 2021 budget was $13 million. 2022, that was $13,200,000. 2022 was $13,848,000. 2023 proposed budget is $15,571,000. Basing that on the gifts that were given last year and being able to increase. We got to the point where we were low on staff. We had several of our cottages closed down because we just couldn't staff them. We couldn't keep people there. Had maybe a little bit of bad leadership at the top, and it kind of trickled down. And so we've made some changes. We've done some things that have improved our campuses. Our campuses over here at Owasso now, they went from a year and a half ago, we were about 65 to 70% staffed. Now we're about 95% staffed. And we're getting ready. How many of you have been by the campus in Owasso lately? Okay, you need to go by there. Take a look right there at the corner of 76th Street and 145th. If you look off to the south, as you approach that intersection right there, or turn right onto 145th and you'll go right back, or right by it, there's a super cottage there. And that super cottage represents a cottage where we're going to house I believe it's 8. There'll be 8 houses inside that big old house. 8 little apartments for moms and their children. And so we will have to have then we'll have to fully staff that building. So there'll have to be house parents there. And our house parents now, that's another thing we've done over the last 5 years, is now our house parents, rather than being there 50 weeks out of the year and getting to take a 2-week vacation, they're there 3 weeks and they're off a week. And so now we have staffing where we have one set of house parents that rotates to the different houses. And so they are actually what we do is we have a cottage for them to be in, and they have the kids actually rotate. And so that gives us an opportunity for our house parents to get a break. Because you think, oh, well, what do they need a break for? It's just 40 hours a week. No, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every minute of the day, with 7 to 8 children besides their own, if they have their own children. Yeah, huh? Yes. Yeah, it's everything you do at home. It's get the kids up and get them ready for school. Those that are not in school yet, you're taking care of them all day long. You're preparing meals. You're making sure at night they all get a bath. Everything that you've gone through in your life, they're going through with their foster or with their kids every day. And so, yeah, they need a break. And we were just getting such burnout that we were having house parents, we might be able to keep them a year and then they would be gone. And so we had to change things. And so this is the program, and it seems to be really working well. And so we've also increased their salary a little bit. Yes?
What's the average age of the house parents?
I really don't know. It just depends on God's calling on their life. A lot of them come in when they're young and do it when they're in their 20s, and so a lot of them are raising their own family along with that. We got some that have been, at Boys Ranch Town. We got some house parents there that have been there 25 and 30 years. And then we had this one couple that came in 2 years ago. And they have 2 older kids, and then they have Rhonda, was she 14? I think their daughter that lives there. So they live at Boys Ranch Town and have a 14-year-old daughter, and so she's the only sister that most of those boys have out there. But it's kind of it's kind of cool. But they are in their probably early 50s, late 40s, and they just felt like that God was calling them to that ministry, and that's where they needed to be. And so they submitted their application, and we accepted them as house parents. And both of them had, I mean, those are the kind of people that you look at and you go, why'd you get your, man, you took quite a pay cut to come here, didn't you, buddy? Because he had a job. He was a computer programmer, and he had a well over $100,000 job, and she had a job, and they said, no, this is where God wants us. And so that's why it's important for us to pray and to give and to support. And we've made some changes this last year where that budget represents salary increases to everybody, fully staffing everything that every ministry that we got, and being able to fully take care of not only the children that are there, but the volunteer or the house parents that are there, and our staff that's there, and the volunteers that are there. And when you got a volunteer come in and say, get ready to paint that house, or remodel one of those rooms, you got to take care of them when they come there and work. Work all day long. And so this gives us the revenue that we need to do those things. All right. Few more statistics right here before we get into our prayer time. All right, so our One Such Child, you might be wondering what that is. Well, I told you a little bit about that. We go out and we help take care of the in-person training when we go to, or for foster care parents. We provide training for that. We had an opportunity. We got a $10,000 grant from the Butterfield Foundation in 2021. This grant was given specifically to produce and distribute 1-hour-length videos regarding the mental health effects of COVID-19 has had on foster and adoptive families. One Such Child partners with the Southern Hills Baptist Church, Oklahoma City, and Deaconess Pregnancy and Adoption to complete the filming of the project. The material captured for the product is so good that instead of producing one-hour training video, we have been able to produce 3 30-minute videos entitled COVID-19 and Mental Health, COVID-19 and Compassion Fatigue, and COVID-19 and Self-Care. We debuted the videos during our Atlas Martha Road VBS foster parenting training. In that 1 week, we were able to train 192 individuals. Year to date, we have been able to train 306 individuals and award 728 hours of training, and the request for access to the videos just keep coming in. And so this is what some of our money goes to right here, to help prepare foster parents to take care of foster children. And so when you think of OBHC, it's more than just a home for kids that are orphaned. It's a completely taking care of all of the kids in Oklahoma that need care. All right, the Hope Pregnancy Center. I want to talk a little bit about that. So in the Hope Pregnancy Center in 2022, in the first quarter, we saw 830 clients. In the second quarter, 912 clients. And in the third quarter, 802 clients. We did 626, 628, and 550 pregnancy tests, of which 81% were positive. We saw 266, 335, and 248 of our clients come back for ultrasounds, and 254, 161, and 163 moms and dads participated in empowering parent classes. And these are classes that when we show our ultrasound, 95% of those young ladies that see the ultrasound, and usually, and we try to get them to come in as husband, not husband and wife, but a couple. So we try to get them to come in as a couple. And 95% of those, once they see the ultrasound, choose life. And so then what do you do at that point? Oh, okay, well, great, you're choosing life. See you later. No, we minister to them. And we develop a plan for them. We have classes for them to come to. It's called Empowering Parents. And if they come to those classes, each class they attend, they get so many points. And at the end of the time, then we have a closet set up there back in the back that has all the items that they will need for childcare to start out with. They can get baby cribs, they can get car seats, they can get diapers, they can get clothes for their baby, they can get all kinds of things. Plus we do family photography for them and get that first picture. And so all of these things we're doing, and you think, oh, well, Hope Pregnancy Center, that's great. We're keeping people from having abortions, but we got to minister to them also. And so the result of that, here's the greatest result of that. We had 52 salvations that come from those people this year, in the first 9 months of last year. 52 salvations. People that professed Jesus Christ as their Savior, come to know Jesus. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about when we work those hours. Talking about the same thing there in our homes for children, we had 19 salvations last year. 19. It's like, wow. Well, how do we get, we're kind of limited on space. You think, well, but again, like I told you earlier, our number one goal is to put families back together. So a lot of times we just have these kids for 9 months, a year, maybe 2 years, and we get them back into their family. And so we're ministering to not only to them, but we're ministering to their families and trying to get them to the point where they come back together again, and they know Jesus, and they get back to, they get the big picture, and their family gets back together, and we don't just leave them there. We match them up with churches. We put them into a position where they can be successful. We train them in such a way that they can be successful, and even these young women that come through our super cottages, when they finally get to the point where they're out on their own and they got a job and they got a car, the first thing we do, we have apartments over in the Baptist campus, like the campuses that surrounds OBHC over here in Owasso, the Baptist Village. We own several of those little apartments over there, and so that's the first place they get moved into. We let them move into one of those little houses and get out there on their own a little bit. They still have people that they can contact. They still have somebody over here that they can hang on to and say, okay, I need advice here. I need advice here. What about this? What about that? So we don't just throw them out there and say, here, just make it again. And we help them become successful individuals, and so that then they can turn around and help other people. All right, let me read a couple of testimonies right here. This is from Boys Ranch Town, a Boys Ranch Town cottage and the local church relationship between the Cottage of Boys. And this is Boys Ranch Town is in Edmond, Oklahoma, and or just outside of Edmond, and they have a great relationship with several of the Baptist churches right around there. So the relationship between a cottage at Boys Ranch Town and the local church that they attend is best characterized as a partnership. It is easy for the cottage to fall into the mindset that the local church is to support and provide resources for the cottage, and all the cottage must do is attend the church and accept the support. However, the local church body provides many opportunities for the residents to grow and to develop in their relationship with Christ and others outside the ranch. Wise cottage parents take advantage of these opportunities and realize it is one of the greatest resources the church offers. How the cottage serves the church. The residents can serve the church in a variety of ways. Helping set up and assist with teaching during Vacation Bible School is a favorite. Helping work booths at the Boys Ranch Town Petting Zoo and setting up and taking down tables and chairs for the Fall Festival is another activity that occurs annually. Another avenue of service includes hospitality. The residents assist with preparing and serving meals to the church staff, widows groups, and senior citizen Sunday school classes. Mission projects in the church offer opportunities to minister to the homeless and provide yard work or meals for the needy. All of these allow the students to use their unique gifts to give back to the body of Christ. So see, it becomes a two-way street. It's not just a give. We teach them how to give back. and to give to the church and to become a part of the church, become a serving, active member of that church, and go out and do things that they need to do to feel like they're a part of, and to feel like they're part of the church. Now, how the church serves the cottage: our local churches serve and take care of our residents in a variety of ways. Financial support allows students to attend annual youth and children's campus. The cottage is also supported through ad hoc giving by individual groups who inquire about specific needs, and the church additionally provides Monday evening meals for the cottage and often offers food left over after church meals. Members have been known to donate venison, other wild game. Individuals and personal relationships are at the core of the church involvement. Some church members have invited residents to play tennis or give lessons, while others have offered the use of their private land to ride ATVs, go fishing, and enjoy the outdoor activities. And I tell you what, just seeing how generous our Baptists are as a whole just has amazed me the last few years, and just some of the stuff that we have. This one individual there at Boys Ranch Town, that her and her husband decided their ministry was to make sure that the campus store was always well stocked. And she said that the first time she got there, it was just holy terror. Just, nobody could make any sense of anything. And so she spent about a month just organizing, getting everything set up and getting it ready. And then she involved her Sunday school class in making sure that the provisions were there. And of course they have resources that come in, through their, their budget to buy food with, but it's the extra stuff, like grandmas give for their kids and those kind of things. And this Sunday school class took that on and said, we're going to make sure that this is well stocked so that the kids have snacks after school, so that it's organized. And when a mom says, man, I don't have any oatmeal left this week, and she can run over there and she knows she's going to be able to find it because it'll be there. And so that, that was just a passion of hers, and she took that on, and it became her project. I'm going to read you, this is our Oklahoma City campus highlights for December. It says, every Monday through Friday, the after-school tutoring and bunny program is a hopping place. The elementary school children arrive around 4 p.m. and are greeted warmly by the staff, volunteers, and tutors. After a snack of their choice, it is time to start homework. Our desire is to develop each child's learning style and see them improve in all areas of education. Our Title I tutors test each child at the beginning and the end of the year, allowing us to monitor their progress. We see children excel in this safe, fun environment and significantly improve their reading and math levels because the Burlap Bunny Burlap Bunny Rabbitry is connected to the tutoring space. We have a unique opportunity for the children to daily love, cuddle, and care for a bunny. Who would not want to hold a bunny and read a book? This exciting after-school program has been a huge success and a worthy investment in the lives of the children of Oklahoma City campus community. And so here at the campus in Oklahoma City, even though there's a mom there, moms still got to go to school and do their part to get themselves ready to move out of this situation. And so the child care at the end of the day after school reverts back to the house parents. And so this is one of the projects that they have there on Monday through Friday. And so every day they get to go in and basically do their homework, do their math, do their reading, learn to be a productive child, and learn that discipline that they've never had before in their lives. All right, another one here. This is from Medill. This is this young lady here. I should show you those pictures. Those are some of the kids there. And this first one was, Boys Ranch Town, and some of the stuff they get to do. This is the church that they get to attend and help there. This is a trip that one of the members there from Edmond First Baptist Church took some of the boys on. And a lot of times what Sunday school classes do is they pick out like one cottage and say, okay, we're gonna provide a meal for you once a month, so mom doesn't have to fix 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, so that Sunday school class does that. All right, this young lady here is from Medill, And if you've never been to our campus down in Madill, Oklahoma, it's a beautiful campus down there. So it's down there close to the Oklahoma-Texas border. And in fact, you got to go past Falls Creek and down there a little further before you get to Madill. Dara is one of the senior girls living in Brown Cottage at Baptist Home for Girls. Dara has lived at BHG for 4 years and is on track to graduate early, then reunify with her family, having shown tremendous growth over her time here. Recently, she saw a great example of this growth. Like most young people, Dara, I'm not sure what, maybe Dara. Dara has had to learn a value and be a good steward of the things the Lord gives. Not long ago, Miss Carew, the Brown Cottage house mom, was transporting Dara from school to her job at Super G Grocery at Kingston. Miss Carew took the Honda CRV assigned for student drivers so Dara, who recently received her license, could practice her driving skills on the way to work. And while driving the vehicle, the check engine light came on. And rather than ignore the warning, Dara immediately asked Miss Carrar if she could pull into the O'Reilly Auto Parts and have them diagnose the problem. This was outside the realm of Miss Carew's expertise, but she allowed Dara to continue her idea. A free diagnostics was conducted and the pinpoint printout was handed to Miss Carew. The diagnosis did not require immediate attention, so Dara drove herself to work and the house mom returned the vehicle to the campus and shared the diagnostic information with the administration. Though this was a simple task, Dara's level of responsibility is deeply encouraging and a sign of great growth. Thank you, Dara, for reminding us to be good stewards of those things God has entrusted to our care. And that picture, just a beautiful young lady there that has come so far and doing and being what God wants her to be. And again, you know, the least, when we take care of the least of these, God says we are blessed. All right, let's, one more thing. We got a few more minutes here. Yeah, we're fine. Never too old to serve, and this is our Hope Pregnancy Centers, and these are a couple of volunteers. I'm going to read you about these volunteers right quick, and that's where I wrote it down right there. I was going to share this, $475.43 was Sunday's offering, and our baby bottles that we got to send to Hope Pregnancy Centers. All right, and now these special, this gift that we sent will go directly to the Tulsa Hope Pregnancy Center to be used right here in the Tulsa area, ministering to people. And again, they use these extra things to furnish like the gift room. So those funds they'll go out and go shopping with them and buy a car seat, buy a high chair, buy some clothes, those type of things, so that when these parents come through this class, then they'll be able to, they'll be able to go in that classroom and pick out some things. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to read this one first. All right, so never too old to serve. Sometimes you wonder what you can do. Martha Cross is a beloved volunteer at Hope Pregnancy Center South in Oklahoma City, serving as a client care volunteer since 2009. So she's one of the ones that when young women come in there and need somebody to talk to, she sits down and talks with them. She takes that opportunity to share about what life is and share about Jesus. And listen to what she says here. One thing that makes Martha's time of service at Hope so special is that she turned 90 years young in October. Martha is timeless and experiences no generation gaps when communicating with her clients. She enjoys people of all ages and walks of life. Besides serving at Hope, Martha loves going to church and teaching teenagers. Martha says she would rather be with the young people than adults. They keep her young and keep laughter in her heart, which she says is so important. Martha says she has served at Hope for the past 13 years because God told me to. Martha's answer to questions always make you smile because she is direct and loving but brutally honest. She connects and values relationships and loves to tell others about Jesus. Martha is married to Leo, and they both love Jesus and Hope Pregnancy Centers. Martha says, I love the loving and non-judgmental environment at Hope. If you have hope, you have everything. The highlight of any client visit for Martha is when someone accepts Jesus Christ as their Savior. Martha has had the joy of leading over 40 young moms and dads to Christ. Everyone who meets Martha wants to know more about her. She is a special lady who also brings joy and laughter into the center. One piece of advice from Martha: you should always try to find joy and something good in every situation. We are so thankful Martha loves God and others so well and serves at Hope Pregnancy Center. And so, it's like, wow, just share it. Just find joy in everything and anything. One more here. This is a servant's heart. And men, you might think, well, that's a women's thing over there. But for every young lady that's pregnant, guess what? There was a man involved. And so sometimes those dads come in with them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're teenagers. Sometimes they're 30, 40 years old. And, and we minister to all of them. This guy here takes a special calling to meet with young men whose wife or girlfriend has experienced an unplanned pregnancy. David Durler answered that call and went to serve weekly at Hope Pregnancy Center, Tulsa, as a client care specialist volunteer. David meets with young men who accompany their mothers for the initial intake appointment. He is compassionate and patient as he attempts to connect with young dads to discuss their circumstances, their plans for the pregnancy, their concerns, and their needs. He spends time talking with them about their relationship with the mother as well as their relationship with the Lord. Often the young men are surprised that a male volunteer wants to visit with them, but it does not take long for them to realize David is authentic, compassionate, and genuinely wants to help. David's love for the Lord and his desire to serve are evident in his passion and commitment to the clients at Hope. He is thoughtful and generous, as he rarely enters the center without chocolate or candy for his fellow volunteers and Hope staff. It is an honor and a joy to have David Durler, a true servant heart, serving at Hope Pregnancy Center in Tulsa. And this young man, or this man, he serves there, talks with the male clients, and he's one of the reasons why we're so successful at helping people out is because we have not just women volunteer, but we have men volunteer to talk and to sit and talk. And I mean, that's a situation like that where you find yourself with an unwanted pregnancy, and there's all kinds of questions. What am I going to do? How am I going to take care of this child? What do I, and so need somebody there to talk to and to listen and to open their heart. One more, and then we'll quit with these. In June, a client came to us feeling devastated about her pregnancy, and I thought this was a really good one I wanted to share with you. Because the relationship with the baby's father had gone wrong and they were no longer together, she had contacted a clinic in Colorado who performs mid- and late-term abortions. Her friend who had an abortion told her she never even thinks about it, so it seemed like the best choice. At 40 years old, she could not fathom starting over again with a child. Hope staff shared every option available to her, provided an ultrasound and a positive bag, but she left determined to abort. During a follow-up visit, she told us how she had been thinking about all the things that she had learned at Hope. She changed her mind and has chosen to keep her baby. In August, we learned her baby had arrived prematurely and was facing surgery. He was in the NICU and facing some uncertain health complications, but she said he was strong. He was a strong little guy, and they were both doing well. Keeping him was the best thing I ever could have done. I love him with my whole heart and more. Thank you for checking up on us. Cole was born on August 1st, 2022, weighing 3 pounds, 14 ounces, and only 17 1/3 inches long. Cole had duodenal atresia surgery on August 26th. He was diagnosed with a trisomy 21 at birth. So I have no idea what those are. Recently, this mom walked into Hope to show us her precious little boy. He was released from the hospital earlier than she had thought, and she wanted us to be the first to see him. She was grinning from ear to ear with joy at her beautiful baby boy. This little one has some very serious health issues and has a long road ahead of him, but he is a fighter and he is very strong. Standing before us was a woman transformed by the gift of life. As she left, she said, I am so thankful for all the prayers, for all the support that Hope has provided. Thank you for being here for me as we walk this road of the unknown. It means more than I could ever express in words. Wow. That's what it's all about. That's why we fill those little bottles up. That's why we took that offering last Sunday. That's why if you're like Rhonda and I, every month, we have a donation that comes out of our checking account to Hope Pregnancy Center and one that comes out to OBHC. So we support them monthly. That's above and beyond our tithe, by the way. I believe that the tithe belongs at the local church, and all these other things that I can do, it's just because God's blessed me and I'm able to just pour into others when he gives me the opportunity. And these are the results of that. And I just wanted to share them with you tonight. And let me read one more thing. It says, no truer words, speaking of Matthew 25:40, when Jesus said, as you did it unto one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me. No truer words have been spoken. Each day, Oklahoma Baptist Homes for Children exists to make a difference in the lives of children and families in need. The need may be physical, emotional, and many times the need is spiritual. We find ourselves making an impact in the lives of those who need help. For 120 years, OBHC has made a difference for thousands of lives and is still making a difference today. Every single day, we make a difference in the lives of children and young mothers in Oklahoma. And we just touch a few of them. You know, there's thousands of more out there. But God's put us here to preach, to teach, and to tell others about Jesus Christ so that they can come to know Jesus. But we cannot reach their physical need or spiritual needs if we don't first meet their physical needs. You can't tell a person about the bread of life when they're hungry on a curbside. You can't tell, the woman at the well, about the water that never ends when she's dying of thirst. We've got to reach and be able to take care of those physical needs. This is just one way we do it. Our cooperative program is so good, there's nothing else like it in the world. Be a part of it. Be a regular part of it. Give to our local church. If you just give, every time you give an offering here, guess what? A little part of it ends up right here helping these guys. But if you can, just think about how many Oklahoma Baptists there are. If you can, go to our website, obhc.org, and there's a place where you can sign up to give monthly and just be a monthly donor. Even if it's just $2, $1 makes a difference. $5 makes, wow. Just think about it, how many Oklahoma Baptists there are if they all give $5 a month, what we can do with those things. Anyway, just choose to be a part of it. All right, prayer list. I didn't grab one when I walked in, so I think we got to put our pastor there at the top of the list and get his voice back. Did everybody get